abusing children. And she said to one man, do you know what you did? Do you really understand what you did? And he said, yes, I murdered who they were supposed to be.
Wow.
And that's it. So it's like I was murdered, but there's nobody to say, you took me from myself. And now we've got to hear this every day with people phoning up just talking nonsense. You know, where they get their ideas from, I don't know.
What sort of ideas do you mean? What are you particularly upset by?
Just people kind of saying, you know, I was really upset in the first instance how people were saying, it can't be true, this stuff doesn't happen. Why are they only coming forward now? They're only coming forward for compensation.
Yes, you will hear that.
Part of the reason people don't come forward is because the brain is a very powerful thing and protects you from the horror of that. It's like, being abused on a daily basis is like suffering an incredibly damaging car crash every single day. It's the same thing on the psyche. So the brain doesn't allow you to remember until you become a bit healthier. That's one reason. Some people, the police that I worked with on my case told me that there were people that they had names that had been brought up by other victims, and they went to visit some of them. These people had breakdowns, not having remembered any of it. Suddenly being confronted with the reality, saying, well, we actually have pictures of you. We have statements from other people. You know? Because
they had managed to shut that part of their memory.
They had somehow managed to shut it out, but still were living dysfunctional, pained lives, unaware of why they couldn't quite get their act together.
You highlight another difficulty, which is the confidence with which we could distinguish between what could be described as a cowardice, a sort of moral cowardice, from which I think most people suffer. I suffer from it. The idea that, someone's tweeted while you were talking to describe this as one of those moments where you actually want to turn the radio off, but can't. And that's the sort of cowardice I describe. I would rather look away from this. And that is shameful, but it's not criminal. And then to know...
That is a natural human reaction.
Yes, and that existence is unquestionable, because it happens now. It's happening in hundreds of thousands of radios across London as you speak. But that's not the same as a cover-up. That is a looking away.
Mm-hmm. It is a looking away, but there are people who looked away, and there are people who made it easier for the people in power to do something to look away.
Yes.
Judges who have people before them who have raped and assaulted children. As a baby, how is it that as a baby, I went before, my case was brought before the courts and it was thrown out. And there was medical evidence and everything, and it was thrown out.
Why do you think that happened then? Do you think that the people making that decision were facilitating or party to or untroubled by your abuse?
Untroubled, clearly, because some of the people in my home, I was taken by women. Most of the staff were women, and I was driven to the homes of very famous people for them to abuse me. Some under anaesthesia, so that causes me all sorts of medical problems. That happened. I think other people are so horrified, and they are so, not that their lives are so wonderful, but their lives are decent and good lives, that they just cannot fathom that kind of horror is in the world.
A house of cards, you describe. If you pull that thread there, or you pull that, everything around you would crumble, would fall. That's why that's why family members sometimes choose not to believe allegations, because to believe them is really to call time upon everything you know to be true.
But also to have to say to themselves, because I don't believe that if you're a good parent, you could be in a home with your partner, male or female, and your child is being abused and say, I didn't know it was happening. What the hell are you doing that you don't know that's going on? But to come back to the cover-up, when you have judges who are described by solicitors laughing, this is the paedophile's friend, when you have doctors who prescribe parents muscle relaxants to facilitate the abuse of a toddler, something's happening that's not being picked up on. Isn't that a cover-up when the doctors are checked over that this is happening? Why are you prescribing muscle relaxants to an 18-month-old baby who has genital sores, who has genital infections, who has sexually transmitted diseases? What's happening?
You answer that for me.
I think it's a poison, and I can't say to you, I don't have the information as such to say.
What is your answer? Because we've never been asked this before. You must have asked this question a million times of yourself. What answers have you come up with?
Why people did nothing?
Yeah.
Because some people are untroubled. Some people just really, I can't swear, but some people don't give a damn. They don't care. It's not my kid. Not bothered. Next one. Let's have the next kid. Let's bring the next child in.
I'm sitting in my surgery with all my alarm bells ringing, and I'm thinking, if I actually respond to these alarm bells, God knows where it will end.
Exactly. Maybe people don't want to be the person, are people saying to themselves, hang on, if so many people have brought cases about the Jimmy Savile thing, why didn't each individual person come forward sooner? Why do we suddenly have this flurry? Because to be that first person to say, and I was told, you're lying, all throughout my childhood, and I was sent to psychiatrists because they said, this child is severely troubled and lies. For my court cases, I was given my social service file. There was no cover-up in the file. It talks in detailed fashion about this child again is crying. I remember staff laughing when I was bleeding. My genitals as a 5-year-old were bleeding, and the staff were laughing. She says she saw. Because that's funny. I wouldn't let an animal be treated like that. And I know that the secretary was in the room who wasn't party to that, but said, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I don't really want to be part of this. And would come in and bring me cheapo 70s cut glass faceted bottles just to say, now as an adult, I realised that was her thing. I was like, come on, be quiet, stop. It's really uncomfortable. We're really uncomfortable with this.
Or it was her. It was. Forgive me. It was also her trying to help you, while knowing that she couldn't give you the help that you really needed. These trinkets
that's what I mean.
Yes.
That's what I mean, and I accept that. And some of those people I don't blame, because people can't do what they don't know how to do. That's a very hard thing to hear when you're being abused and you're in agony with it. And some people just simply don't have the backbone, and some people don't care, and some people actively cover up and facilitate abuse. And we mustn't forget that. And I just want to say, if you care about children, because we all say we care about children, but, the RSPCA adverts ask for £3 a month and the NSPCC asks for £2 a month. I'm always kind of struck by that. If you care about children, write to your MP. Say, we need to change the laws. We are not caring for children in this country. And I'm pained at the moment because 30-odd years on from the abuse that I endured, the same stories are coming out. I'm the baby P that lived. I'm the baby P that didn't get to die. I'm the baby P that lived with the bruises and the fractures and the damaged pelvis and the adult incontinence from being repeatedly raped as a child. Do something about it. Be uncomfortable, turn your radio off, go and write a letter, write an email, Twitter it, tweet it, whatever you want to do, but do something about it. Don't sit there and say, I'm so uncomfortable. It's not like being outside and your coat's a bit light, I'm uncomfortable. This is serious. This goes to the fibre of who we are as people. And if you really care about children, do something about it. You don't have to go out there with a banner. You don't have to become a campaigner, but you can quietly write a letter. Start with that. Bombard them and say, you're in service to us. What a role of privilege. David Cameron, what a role of privilege you have to be in service to your country. Do something about it. Don't close your eyes. We'll mount another inquiry. Yeah, sure.
Well, what would you expect the letters to achieve other than a promise of looking properly into these allegations?
I think we flood them. We flood them until, you keep going. Make a pest of yourself with it, We've got to make a noise about it, a quiet noise about this. Because I can't see, how is it that somebody robs a bank, they get 15 years in prison, somebody rapes multiple children and gets a suspended sentence. This happens all the time. Or a judge who gave a rapist a suspended sentence because he chose to wear a condom. What are we doing? The way we look at sex crime, it's not about sex. That's the thing. So this whole gay thing is it's nonsense. It's not about sex. It's about power. Surely if you want to have sex with somebody, there are lots of ways to engage in sexual activity without violence.
Of course.
It's about power. It's about the annihilation of somebody's soul. Because if these people knew your spirit, if we knew, okay, this is the kneecap, this is the hip, this is the toe, this is where the soul lies, this is where your spirit lies, they would gouge that out immediately. And that's what we're allowing people to do. We're allowing them to take the spirit and the soul of children and leave these empty shells walking around, and then we wonder why we have such dysfunction in the world. I know that, it seems kind of a bit of a jump, but actually it's connected. Don't be part of the cover-up.
And everyone who does nothing is.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sarah, thank you for phoning me.
Thank you.
Look after yourself.
I will do. Thank you.